what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a very impromptu episode of Madman Activities. Niggas on vacation. I'm in Las Vegas. I'm not even home. Which is actually strange. It's the first time that this is the first time the situation's been reversed where you two are in Chicago and I'm the one out of state. This is the first time that's been in reverse. That's strange. But, nonetheless, Jonathan Majors is cooked. It don't matter how you look at it. He's cooked. Melissa Banera got a better chance of pulling off Screen 7 than Jonathan
You're
Majors.
bugging for that one.
Let's be very careful.
I want to start with the empathetic side.
Mike. I want to be very, especially if this is going up on YouTube, be very careful what we talk about, because I don't want to talk about someone else's life like we know what's going on. Let's only talk about the stuff that's going on with Marvel.
You don't want to do that. I wanted to be empathetic and actually talk about him as a person before we jump into the main. So here's what I'll do. I will sidebar this, and I may clip this moment specifically right here. I may clip this. We will probably do a philosophy of film episode at some point in the future talking about the obsession that comes with work. So I'm a sidebar.
So on another note,
he's probably going to jail. And now the question is, what is Marvel going to do? Christian, what do you have to say? Because me and Jaden had a whole half-hour-long conversation that ended with my phone dying. That's the only reason I got off the phone with him.
Oh, yeah, so you're okay. I knew I was like, his phone had to die because he.
I don't know, man. Because
so I don't know. Here's what I will say. It's like, to get it out. I'm reading the Hollywood Reporter. It says Jonathan Majors was found guilty of assault and harassment. Right after that, like not even a few hours later, Marvel released him and said they're not going to be working with it. Then, literally right after that, Marvel announced that Kang Dynasty will not be called Kang Dynasty anymore. It will just be called Avengers 5. So
Great.
from there we can talk about it. We can talk about it more. I just wanted to get all of that.
That's a good segue, because I'm still kind of pissed off about that. But Christian, you start first.
You know, when I got the news earlier today, I was just like, wow. Like when I went on Twitter today and it says Marvel fired Jonathan Majors, I was like, wow. My biggest concern is, like, I'm just curious on what they're going to do with this recasting, or if they're going to come up with a new villain. Because if you recast, or if, like, you brush away or even, like, recast, like, how are you going to explain the post-credit scene from Ant-Man? So, it's going to be hard.
Okay, so I'm using this I'm calling these 007 notes, because I'm not going to keep saying it over and over again. But 007 notes are basically anything that my dad has to say that I've had a conversation about beforehand. 007's notes say that because of the lack of reception and the small amount of people that went to go see Quantumania, he believes that Marvel can get away with a full-blown turnaround and pull a Doctor Doom and make him the face of the MCU villainy, and they can get away with that the same way they got away with Ruffalo and Don Cheadle and who else got recasted? Oh, Thunderbolt Ross. They can get away with that without anybody caring or noticing whatsoever, except for the hardcore MCU fans. That's what he had to say as far as everything going on with Marvel. I disagree with that statement.
I kind of see where he's going with it, but I don't know. That was a lot of build up with his character that we saw.
It was a lot of build up and not a lot of build up, because if you think about it, he's only in 2 projects. He's in Loki and he's in Quantumania. That's it.
That's true.
Between those two,
only in 2
he's
projects.
got 6 variants.
You say what, Jaden? What did you say?
I was saying he's only in 2 projects. We've only truly got to know 2 of, like, we only truly.
What the hell?
Are you okay? This is happening.
It happened to us before too, bro. This has happened before. You didn't see that?
Well,
you didn't see the bubble with the hands up.
Oh, I saw that. I was like, all right,
bro.
That's not the first time that.
That happened when he was on his phone once too, and I'm like, what in the world?
So I mean, yeah, we only like really been close to 2 of them. I guess.
It's really only been
He who
so
remains
let
in
me.
Victor Timely.
We
I
talked
mean,
about that. We talked about this a little bit before.
Kang.
He actually probably knows who this guy is. I said if they're going to
Damon
fan
Idris.
cast him, I know Damson Idris.
Damson?
You know who that is?
yeah, Franklin from
Yeah,
So
it's
Far.
Damson. Exactly. I said that's a perfect recast.
I said he's not menacing enough.
Let me say no, Mike.
He
You
is
haven't seen
like
Snowfall.
perfect. Exactly.
Mike, you haven't seen Snowfall.
You're just going off of those little clips.
He was my first option, but I personally think, I don't know, John Boyega, I'm still sticking by it.
Christian was the one that got me on John Boyega, and after
those two though, no, I agree with you, Jaden, because he can really pull it off, but John Boyega can too, in my opinion.
So
I feel like
here's my thing. I don't care about the casting as much because you could go with those two. You could go with a number of A-list black actors that could pull this off well, but those two definitely have the range and the proof of range to do so. My thing is, and what I was talking to my dad about, is that Marvel has an issue. Even if they recast Kang the Conqueror, what are you going to do then? Your entire story is surrounded around this dude who's been in 2 projects that nearly nobody has seen. Daniel still ain't seen Loki. Oh well, no. Actually, I take that back.
But that's exactly the point of why it's best to recast and continue the story instead of just taking a total 180
but continue
and having to retcon a bunch of stuff. The
That's
story
true.
that they were going with. No, so the
what
video
story?
that I
Can
sent.
you tell me
the
where
video,
you thought they were going?
Everyone knows what they were going. Where they were going.
No, tell me. Explain to me where you thought they were going.
From Kang Dynasty to Secret Wars. It's pretty obvious.
No, those are movies. Where was the story going? What was Kang going to do?
He was going to take over the multiverse. It's like they've said it. They've literally said it. It's like it's yes. What other thing do you know Kang to be known for?
They haven't implied it.
There was going to be a multiversal war between all of the Kangs.
Quick question.
And Avengers were going to have to take the main Kang down. Like I feel like there was going to be a multiverse. Like, cause
you mean the Avengers who have no idea who Kang is?
Yes.
They don't even know he exists. The only Avenger that even knows he exists is Ant-Man, who may or may not be in a time loop.
Can I say something real quick? So is that since this is going on, doesn't Deadpool 3 have to have something to do with the Kang thing? So I'm kind of nervous on how that's gonna go now.
Exactly.
Deadpool doesn't have to have anything to do with the Kang thing.
No, but it
can have something to do with the multiverse.
They were a TVA agent to recruit Deadpool for the Kang Dynasty Wars.
That's what
you have to
idea.
You have to remember it has to do the TVA, yes, but you have to remember this isn't called the Kang saga. It's called the Multiverse Saga.
That's true.
Yes. But it wasn't called the Thanos Saga. It was called the Infinity War Saga or the Infinity Saga.
But you're proving my points of the fact of Kang wasn't built up enough to the point of where you can't recast him.
Of Avengers, and
that's also true.
If at the end of what you're saying is basically at the end of Avengers: Age of Ultron, when Thanos pulled that glove out the closet and he said, "I'll do it myself." If they pivoted and switched to Doctor Doom for Infinity War, everyone would have been completely confused.
That's what you're saying they should do. I'm only talking about a recast. I'm saying continue the story that they were on and recast the character.
And I'm saying at that point,
No, because you just proved me right by saying what you said.
I will agree. I will agree with you there. I did just say that. But not okay.
Like
the recast point. I fully agree with you on recast. Those two are the top opinions. John Boyega, if you happen to be sitting here watching this clip,
Please.
hold on. If you're watching this clip, first off, hey, from 3 niggas sitting in the room. Secondly, talk to your people, talk to your agent, get this going. Because we know you can do this. You already did it once on a smaller scale. We just need you to put some face paint on real quick. That's all we need from you. Nonetheless, I don't see where Marvel was. Okay, think about this. They actively tied together in the Sonyverse, right? That Across the Spider-Verse is part of the MCU. Because they show Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. Can we agree on that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Them niggas have no idea who Kang is. Kang and his whole dynasty was like, they're beginning to touch the multiverse. Niggas been here. Miguel got a whole army.
That's true.
Yeah. Miguel's got a whole army. What is it? TVA, they don't know anything about the Kang dynasty. They think everything's well and cool, except for that one Kang the Conqueror variant. It was a 616 adjacent timeline, but I think it resolved itself or something like that, right?
Well,
So
now
my
they
point
do.
And then on top of that, my point is that Ant-Man is in a time loop. Ant-Man is not. If Ant-Man is the front runner of a Kang Dynasty or Secret Wars, you've done it wrong.
Which is crazy because they're talking about Ant-Man being in Spider-Man.
You could pick so many other Avengers.
Yeah.
You could have him team up with Kate Bishop, Daredevil, Miss Marvel.
Daredevil is rumored to be in Spider-Man 4.
But I think it's factor they want it to be an already established, an already established Avenger. So so I think they're choosing from the people that have already.
Okay, Kate Bishop is an Avenger. Can we agree on that?
No.
Nah, I'm with Jay.
What has she done? What has she done to be an Avenger?
She literally was grandfathered in by Clint.
Did
you like them to do with the character and what's going on? Because I have my thoughts. I'm sure you guys have different based off the last 20-something minutes. That is evidently true. What would you guys want them to do moving into Avengers 5? Can't believe they changed the name from Dynasty. But
yeah, that's kind of crazy. That's
crazy.
Okay, it goes both ways because you can recast.
Yeah, you can recast.
But at the same time, it's like, okay, like you said, we've built up to this character, but at the same time, we haven't built up that much for him to be a Thanos level threat. So if they do move forward and do a new villain, okay.
I would see that as another thing under Kevin Feige's reign, especially since Kevin just wants to be done. That's why he had these projects moving along so fast. Like, think about it. We were supposed to get Secret Wars 2 years from now. That was never going to happen. Never. I knew that when I saw it. I was like, that's getting pushed back. That can't happen.
All the way.
But my point to that is that under his reign, right, whoever takes over after him could probably do differently. If it was us, we would do differently. There is only like 3-4 villains that are like them, the heavy hitters. Those are the good guys. They wasted Christian Bale. They wasted Hela. They wasted Ultron. They wasted Malekith, who's an actual cold villain in the comics. They've wasted so many villains.
Here's the thing. Those across the MCU. Those characters are specifically towards, like, Christian Bale, Hela. Those were specifically catered towards Thor.
Sure.
And I get why they did that. Would I have introduced to them differently and gone a different route in how Thor dealt with him? Yes.
Yeah.
But I see why those characters.
Okay, I understand your point.
One thing that I like when it comes they've announced that Galactus will be a Fantastic Four, the Fantastic Four villain.
I find that crazy
because Galactus, in my mind, a world-eating, a planet-eating threat.
He need to
kind
be
of seems like
scrapping
an
with
Avengers thing.
brother from Eternals.
Like
That's what he
I've
need to be
always
scrapping
found
with
that
him.
because if you look at the Chris Evans Fantastic Four,
Mm-hmm.
they pulled the same thing that they did in Transformers: Rise of the Beast, where they just stopped Galactus from getting there. They didn't actually kill Galactus.
So you're saying, which is very much a Fantastic Four thing to do, because they can't actually like straight out just box with Galactus like that. It's the same thing with Dormammu, which they've done in the MCU before. Okay, Dormammu is another great example. Dormammu is an example of a villain that if he reappeared in something like a Shang-Chi or a Ant-Man or something like that, and they had to deal with that crisis, it would make sense, one, why the character's still alive, two, why he's menacing, and three, it now questions how are these guys going to deal with this character, because the last time they dealt with it was with an Infinity Stone and a bargain. And now he's breaking those rules. So now you have all that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, imagine what if is purely the exact my entire point. What if has taken every villain that died and brought them back and shown them that, oh, this could have been the next Thanos.
So I've heard people say, okay, because here's the thing. Like they did Thanos.
Right.
It seems like they were going to do Kang. They were going to do Kang.
Okay, the point I was before, I'm gonna let you continue, but the point I was making is that with the point I was trying to get at is that by just killing Kang and moving on to another villain, it's just adding another really great potential villain with a really great actor or a really great recast potentiality, and just adding it to the pile of sucky villains in the MCU that just die or never get seen or heard from again.
Okay, so you got like that's where I was sort of gonna get to. I was saying they did Thanos. They're gonna do Kang. I feel like if they can still do Kang, and then right after that do Doom. Right after Doom,
Put that video at the very bottom. No, not that one. Not the impound video. That
this one
is disrespectful. Christian, look at this. Look at this. That's disrespectful.
No, and like in my head when he sent me this, it goes too soon, fam. And in my head, I'm like, it's like imagine saying that, hey, too soon, nigga. It's been a day.
For real.
It's been a day.
Yo, what's going on? X, Y, and Z. Okay, should be good. Okay. Yo, what's happening, guys? So, I'm actually back home now, editing up this video and whatnot, and we didn't wrap this up at all. There's actually two separate things that I'm gonna release at some point where we had a conversation about whether or not Kate Bishop is an Avenger or not. So if you want to go see that, stay tuned for that on the YouTube channel as well. That should be up pretty soon. We also had a conversation about a really long conversation about Spider-Man 4 and the implications for that and what that looks like in the MCU, and Carnage and Null and Phase 7 and things like that. And I think it's pretty interesting. I'm just putting up the raw, slightly cutting out pieces so that you can like piece together the conversation, but really raw just version of it. And there was no clean way of ending that conversation that we had about Jonathan Majors, so I'm adding this part in here. Safe to say, it's really sad that what's happening to him is happening, but where I think the best way to describe it is that the Kang situation and the Majors situation, while the two are really intricately linked, we are making a distinction between the two of them, which is Jonathan Majors is Jonathan Majors, and again, I said, we're going to have a conversation about obsession and acting and things like that, and we may even have a private conversation that's recorded and maybe put up on something, private, talking about just his trial as a whole in comparison to actors like Amber Heard or Ezra Miller or others in the past. And the difference in the cases and the allegations and the criminal charges, and how the repercussions have been vice versa for these these groups of individuals, you know. But that's a completely different subject to that of Kang Dynasty, Avengers 5, the MCU as a whole, and what they're going to do moving forward, you know. So with that being said, we pretty much discussed all that anyway. I just wanted to sum it up real quick and wrap up this video, and we'll see you guys in the new year. Yeah, it's the 28th right now for me right now as I'm recording this. Wrapping up the new year, putting out a lot of content, and I'm really excited to see, for you guys to see what this new phase of content will be like, because we love talking comics, but 2024 is going to be a lot different than anything we've put out beforehand. And I'm really excited for you guys to see what that looks like.